think that Kaneko Misuzu is a good place. The way that I learned what I know about her, I learned what I know about her from a film that Sakai-san told me about called Misuzu, and they have it at the university library, and it's good. I think it's better than a lot of movies about poets and those kinds of things. It's really slow, especially in the beginning, but I think it's good, and it doesn't. So anyways, I translated 3 poems, and I feel like this format that I have them on is kind of unusual, but this is kind of like the cover page, and I decided that I wanted to handwrite all the poems myself, again in Japanese. So I guess it was I like my handwriting in Japanese, and I also thought it would be good practice for me. But it ends up looking like a little bit childish, but I think that's okay because Kaneko Misuzu is kind of known as a children's poet, and she was popular with children when she was still being published. So I kind of made it. I can't really. I can show you like this.
You can turn the front lights up too, Alex, or I can do it for you.
Well, I made it in this way so that you can see both pages of the Japanese, and then my English translation. And then if you keep flipping it over, then you'll see the next poem. And here's my translation. And I was thinking about reading the poems in Japanese myself, but I don't really feel comfortable doing that. So I'll just read you my translation. The first one, the Japanese title is Rakugaki, and when I first showed Adrienne the books, that was the one that she noticed right away. So I thought I'll translate this one for Adrienne.
Thank you.
She told me, Adrienne told me right away that Rakugaki, the closest English word for it was maybe graffiti, but I didn't really think that. I didn't really want to use that because I feel like the meaning has kind of changed since then. So I kind of made it my own word, and my word for Nakugaki is Scrabble. And it's kind of, I chose that word because it's kind of like scribble, but it's kind of more fun than a scribble, and it's kind of it's something like when you're the scribble and in the poem. That there was some time spent thinking about the scribble actually. So, and I don't know, I just kind of liked the sound of it. So, Scrabble. While listening to the sonnets of rain, I gazed at this wall of Scrabble. One day, someone scrawled, in likeness of me, this poor illustration. Moving through the air is the odor of medicine. From this relatively large brazier, I alone, with strong feelings, look to the face of my older sister. So you kind of have some imagery when you read this poem, and kind of what I see is Kaneko Misuzu, maybe even when she's a younger child, is kind of sitting in this room. And she's all by herself, and her sister is there, maybe with some blankets covering all of her body except for her face, because she's sick, and that's why Kaneko Misuzu can smell the medicine. And I think that the illustration or the Scrabble that Kaneko Misuzu sees on the wall was drawn by her older sister, and that's another reason why. And I think that the older sister drew the illustration of her younger sister. And So it's kind of a sad poem, and a lot of her poems are kind of sad. So I chose to translate two kind of sad ones and one that's kind of more happy. This is the one that is kind of more positive of the three. The original title to this one. Now they're out of order, and I have no idea what's going on. The title of this one is Mina Orsini. And I think the only part of this I don't really like is my translation of the title. And I also know that I'm just a first-year Japanese student, so I really don't think my translations are very good. But I just kind of wanted to do it anyway. And I titled it "Liking All These." I want to like all things, even green onions, even tomatoes, even fish. Liking everything, leaving nothing out. On the dinner plate, all these things made by my mother. I want to like all living creatures, even the doctor, even crows. Liking everything, leaving nothing out. All things in the world, these things made by God. And when my friend Chika Takehashi was helping me translate these, she thought that maybe the God that Kaneko Misuzu was talking about was the Christian God, because of, I think, like the way it's used. But when I saw the movie, there was nothing about Christianity in it, so I kind of would like to believe it's not the Christian God. And my final one is the Japanese title is Ho, and my title is The Sail. Looking at the shells on the beach for just a little while, and that sail went away. This is the way it went away. Someone was there. Something was there. I think that kind of like what's happening in this poem is she's kind of, well, I mean, you can like look at it literally or figuratively, but she's kind of maybe sitting on this beach, and she's looking at all these empty shells, and she saw this sail before, so she knew that there was someone out there in this boat, and then she just kind of spacing out or something, and then she looked up and it was gone. So it's kind of, and she knows that something happened in that boat, and there were some people there, and she wishes she'd been a part of that, but now it's gone. And then another thing too is to kind of like close my presentation. One reason why I didn't bind these is because I would kind of like translating her poems to be like something that like anyone can do, and kind of we can like maybe like have like a collection of like poems of Kaneko Misuzu like translated by us, like just maybe like the Japanese department at the university or something, and. I don't know. I guess that's it.
That's amazing. Alex, hang on a second. First of all, how much does everybody love Alex? I like this idea of having a place where people translate her poems. I think that's really neat. And I think we could have a blog where you guys translate, and it could be an ongoing project. I think that's a really neat idea.
And and I think there are 6 volumes besides, so she has a lot of poetry. And people, I've seen some translated on the internet, but I don't know, it doesn't seem like anyone really puts that much energy into the translating.
No. Well, you guys can put the energy into it. I think this is a beautiful start, and scan what you've done, and we can put those scanned images up. Yay! Does anybody have questions for Alex?
Yeah, why did you decide to translate out of
Well, I think part of it, I translated the one Rakugaki, just because Adrian.
Because I told him.
Yeah. And also Adrian was like, it's so beautiful, and I was like, what is that about? You know, like I want to know why Adrian thinks it's beautiful. You know, and then the one about God was one that my friend Shika noticed while she was reading it, so I thought I'll pick that one. I also picked these ones because they weren't as difficult as some others.
Right.
I just want to say one more thing. I know all semester, especially in the beginning, we were all thinking, man, I wonder how different this is than the original, and I knew that translating things from Japanese was hard, and I guess I had some feeling that, that poetry was even harder, but, I have, some books of poems by, French poets, and they're always bilingual, and sometimes they're even able to, keep the same number of syllables per line, and I used to always think, you've got to keep the same number of syllables per line, and, it's got to be, an exact, translation, and it's got to be the same amount of syllables. But, I look at these, and I'm like, oh my God, that's impossible, But still, I wish that there were more bilingual editions of Japanese books available here. The way there are French and Spanish ones. I think it's kind of stupid.
You guys need to make them. You guys need to make them. You all need to study lots and lots of Japanese and translate lots and lots of poetry and stuff. And you can start at any point. This is why I think it's so neat. You can start as a first-year student and challenge yourself and do stuff. That's great. Yay, Alex!